I tell you, once you've gotten shot at enough, it kind of
I was
fries all
gonna
those
say.
nerve endings. I've done 3 combat tours in Iraq, and whatever that place is just kind of gets burned out of your brain. I still get nervous over a 5-foot putt. I think everybody on earth gets nervous over a 5-foot putt.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. Dan Rappaport is on his honeymoon, so you probably won't hear from Dan for a few weeks. I think he's in Africa. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Africa.
For like 2 weeks.
Excited to hear about that. Africa's a cool place, interesting place. Animals, right? You do like the African safari. That's kind of the move when you go out there. Giraffes and shit.
I think you're going to get a lot of videos of him on a Jeep looking at cheetahs. That's what I think of when I think of like an African safari.
Maybe a lion, like a pride of lions sleeping and looking at each other and stuff.
Tearing apart a gazelle.
This will
Do you know that
probably be like the worst like Americanized thing I'll ever say, but I'll get my fix from like Disney. You know, I don't need to go all the way over there to see the cheetah or the giraffe. It's too much for me.
I have no interest in it as well. I would rather
I'll
go
to Animal Kingdom. I'll see that shit for like 4 hours, and then I'll go sit on my couch and like then just be able to do everything else aside from look at the animals.
Right. I would prefer to go to like Maui.
Amazing. Rowan just went there and they looked incredible. I got a lot of enjoyment watching their Instagram stories, him and his wife. I just don't know if I could do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you're there, it's like you're awe-inspired by the beauty of nature. I'm sure you are.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure there's so many people that go. There's got to be a reason. But I would rather go to like a really nice hotel in Hawaii. But to each their own. It is what it is.
I really want to go to Europe, like through Greece and Italy and all the historic places. As a history guy, I think going through and seeing all those places and walking, kind of like we do in golf, like walking the streets and through the cathedrals that these icons of history walked through, that I would be into. And I imagine you'd get swept up once you're there with all the giraffes and elephants, right? I'd like to see like a fucking wild elephant. I'm sure that'd be really cool, but it's almost like I don't know that I would choose that over other possible vacations is essentially what we're trying to get to. But Dan did. Dan's over there. He's in Africa right now. He's probably looking at a fucking cheetah or a hyena or a zebra. I'd like to see a zebra, but you can see him at the zoo. St. Louis Zoo is a great zoo. I've seen a bunch of these things at the fucking zoo. Speaking of zoo, you guys see the fake bear at the Chinese zoo? Did you guys see this thing?
Dude, I was watching that video this morning, going back and forth on whether it's a fake bear or not. Basically, Frankie, the story is there's a video of a bear standing up, like looking at people, and people are convinced that there's a human being inside the bear and that the zoo is lying to the people. The zoo, I think, doubled down and said it's definitely a bear. I think I'm on the side of bear because, all right, it looks like dude, it looks like a human when it's standing up, but every other action that it takes when it sits down, it looks like a bear to me.
Dude, Frankie, it's some special kind of bear that's like this.
It's the fakest bear in the world.
But watch it sit down.
Just a person in a bear suit at the zoo. And the zoo, like Trent said, the zoo was getting all kinds of flack for this just being a person in a bear suit, like it's Halloween. And they doubled down hard. It's one of my favorite
What do you think,
stories.
Frankie?
I mean, the face makes it extremely real. But the body, man.
Does make you wonder how many zoos over the years have put human beings inside of a bear suit and been like, this is one of the rarest bears in the world. And it's just some guy working a 9-to-5 sweating his ass off inside of a bear costume.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that I've never seen that kind of bear that's just perfectly human size. Like most bears, Kodiak bears or black bears are massive. They're like a trillion times bigger than that. Whereas that's just, if that thing is real, that is just a perfect human size, especially when it's standing on its hind legs, bear that I've never seen like that.
Even the neck is weird.
The hind leg, it being on its hind legs is what raised a few eyebrows for sure. Because it just looks like it's a standing human being.
Yeah, that's
like
fake as shit. That's
when
the
a guy is
thing
like
ever.
when you're in your underwear standing in front of the refrigerator at 3 a.m. That's what that guy looked like. So I'm still on the side of the bear, but I really hope that there's a human being inside of that
incredible.
bear costume.
It's almost so like it was almost offensive how not like a real bear it looked at first when I saw it, that it made me think maybe
it's got wrinkles on its ass from the costume.
Anyways, so Dan's on Dan's on his honeymoon, so safe travels to him. Hope they're having a great time. Excited to hear about all the encounters with animals that he'll see from a Jeep. You nailed that one, Trent.
Chevrolet. Chevy is working to make charging simple. We love Chevy. Obviously, they are our favorite motor company in the world, and what they've done with electric vehicles is just incredible. And the fact that they have over 110,000 charging stations across the United States and Canada and are growing is simply just amazing. This is the way of the future, and Chevrolet is pioneering this way of the future. The My Chevy app, your smartphone becomes your co-pilot when you're using My Chevrolet mobile app with Energy Assist. This app will allow you to access vehicle information like battery status and charging settings from anywhere you are. You don't have to be in the car. The Energy Assist feature intelligently plans your routes, tells you where and how long to charge up, and gives you real-time data about charging station availability, which I feel like might be the only thing that people get nervous about when getting an electric vehicle is when am I going to charge it? How long is it going to take? Where am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? And this just sets you all up.
Yeah, they've been making electric vehicles for like 10 years. This isn't something they jumped into 18 months ago or 2 years ago even. It's been going on for 10 years. So Chevy is ready, and they've got the best line of vehicles, the best line of EV vehicles available.
Chevy electric vehicles offer great options for charging. All of them are as simple as plugging in your smartphone, and for home charging, they have 3 different levels of options available. So learn more at chevy.com/electric. Check this all out. The charging, the energy assist, all of that stuff is at chevy.com/electric.
Anyways, we got a lot to get to. Quite a bit of news actually right now in the golf world. Tiger Woods, he was all over yesterday. Woke up, he was trending. You always get a little bit nervous when Tiger Woods is trending, no doubt about it. At this point, we've been through enough of it. He's trending for a good reason. He was announced as the newest addition to the PGA Tour's Policy Board, which I imagine anyone who did any research whatsoever figured out that this is the first time that the PGA Tour board has been numbers wise skewed more towards the players than towards the independents, as they call them, which is essentially, business guys. There's like a private equity guy, whomever, that are sort of these independent voices that act on behalf of the PGA Tour that make up the board. And then there were 5 players on that board. Tiger Woods becomes the 6th, so now it's 6-5 in favor of the players over the independents, which means that the players will have more of a say. It's essentially their answer to all of the hoopla and all the negative pushback from everybody, including the players, and especially the players after the PGA Tour announced the deal with the PIF, the framework deal, and everybody came out and was like, we had no fucking clue. Rory McIlroy went mute ever since then, basically, on the issue. He's been like, I just don't want to talk about it. I'm over it. And so this was kind of their answer to that, transparency. I kind of said last night when I hopped on the people that love me over at CNBC, the great folks of CNBC, that anytime you get Tiger Woods on your side in the world of golf, that's just a win for you. That's kind of my take on the whole thing.
It does feel a little bit like from the PGA Tour to the players, like, we mean it this time. Like, we mean it. We're going to give you a chance to have a voice in the room. And I saw Dan tweet about it, and I agree with what he said. The big thing happened. The big thing that the players would have loved to have been involved in, the merger with Liv or PIF or however you want to phrase it, that already happened. So, yeah, it's good for the players now. They're going to be involved in more decisions going forward. But the one that is going to affect the landscape of golf the most over the next 20 to 30 years was already decided without them.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely. It's like, what big decision could happen in the next, God knows how long that would be bigger than that. I guess the thing is that, I mean, you could sit here and argue that, well, now they could technically, vote down the deal and how it comes out. But at this point, those fucking players are not voting down or vetoing this deal. At this point, once the stigma wears off, which it already has, of like the stigma being that they're upset that they kind of like stood with the good guys and they were told by the PGA Tour that they're on the moral high ground, and then whammy, they just got completely undercut from all that. Once that wears off, the PGA Tour players are not going to veto this thing unless it's outrageously skewed against them, which it won't be. But because at this point now they're just going to be on the PGA Tour, except they're going to have $1 billion+ injected into their profession. So for them, it's an absolute no-brainer. It's like, yeah, of course we're not going to vote anything down. We've already gotten over the fact that we publicly were embarrassed because we thought we were on the right side, the PGA Tour flip-flopped or whatever, and now we're just going to make a ton more money. They're not going to veto that. They're not going to turn that down.
I set up a whole little pergola or a gazebo, whatever you want to call it, in my backyard. And I put a couch in there, and we just got a fan installed. It's a beautiful little outdoor setting. We got a TV installed last night. And the first thing that I watched on the TV was Riggs on CNBC. It was the first character that showed up on my outdoor TV was Riggs. Because you had tweeted it, and I literally hooked up the cable box, and everything was working perfectly. And I kind of went on Twitter as the TV was booting, and I said to Hannah, I was like, "Oh, I think Riggs is on TV." So before a channel even turned on, I went to the thing and I said into the remote, I said CNBC, bang, it popped up, and you were the first person that had you right on the screen. It was bizarre.
That is unbelievable. Hope I looked all right.
Yeah,
hope I looked all right. I was.
No, you christened it.
It was not. It was nice doing the hit. I like because they usually put you up there with a couple other folks, and it's like whatever. You got to be ready for war. You don't know what their stance is going to be. Whatever. This one, it was like North Korean TV. It was just me. It was just me and this. She was like a stand-in for the show. So I just got to rant about how great Tiger Woods is, basically for 3 or 4 minutes on CNBC with nobody countering me, which was really nice. But yeah, look, Tiger Woods is going to be. I think it's very exciting for all of us that Tiger is in any way interested in doing something like this. He would be so easy for him to be like, I've got $1 billion. I don't like being in the spotlight. My giant yacht is literally named privacy. And instead he's like, he's going to be on meetings and Zooms. We've heard Kisner talk about it because, he's been on not this level of the board, but right underneath it, the pack. He's been on these dude, we're in, especially during COVID and all the bullshit, Zoom after Zoom, 9 hours of calls and emails and BS that I get that it's not the same as being, a full-time executive at a company, but that's a pretty big commitment that he's making for an indefinite period of time where he's going to be invested in shaping the future of the PGA Tour. So I like that from our guy, Mr. Woods, that he's kind of locked in. And yeah, it's big news that Tiger got that. I saw Kevin Streelman said it's not a pleasant surprise. It's a great surprise. I saw Justin Thomas in his interview about it yesterday being like, this is, if there's one human being I could imagine us wanting on there, it's Tiger Woods. I laughed at Phil Mickelson, who he tweeted, this is great to see players having equal representation on the board, Tiger getting more involved and accountability across the board. Awesome news. So you have to take everything Phil says with a grain of salt. At this point, it just kind of makes me laugh.
Everything Phil says, he says with a huge shit-eating grin on his face, and it's been that way since the merger was announced. Everything he says is a little bit like, "Yeah, this is great. This is really good. I'm really happy that this is happening." Yeah. I like when Phil is out there and he's happy. He's happy with what's going on.
Phil, for all the things that he's gone through, deserves a little bit of a victory lap, just to himself, right? He's not going to get a public victory lap, but to himself, he can get his jabs in. Everything that he aspired for and wanted to have happen and fought for is happening. I mean, players have way more access on the board and in decisions, and more money is being presented to players. Phil has really, really done a great job when you think about it, from all the things that he got shit for. Obviously the book comes out, everyone knows everything about Phil's personal life, his gambling issues, and he's an asshole, and he's greedy, and he never stops his gambling debts, and those are all true. But in the end, Phil got what he wanted, even though he doesn't get to reap any of those benefits. He's sitting there somewhere in front of that. What does he have? He has that Rolex in his house. Remember that one shot? He did that one video where he had that huge clock in his house, just the biggest clock anyone's ever had. And he's just sitting in front of it. The whole wall is a digital clock. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. But yeah, he's happy right now. Phil's just he's taking his victory lap, as he should, I think.
Yeah, he is, and I like too that Phil has done the he's constantly teased stuff about how it's going to come out that he was right. I feel like for a year and a half, he's always been just wait and see, and then as stuff does kind of come out, and then he puts these absolutely spot on, Trent. These like shit-eating grin type tweets that he replies with. I love it. It gets a good chuckle out of me. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait for a year from now or whenever it is that like when Phil and everybody are just back on the PGA Tour and they're all playing. Because Phil, I mean, he put out whatever it was a week or two ago when they were talking about a path back to the PGA Tour, and he was like, nobody on Live wants to go back to the PGA Tour. Like, that's just clearly not true. Like, they're all going to be playing golf together, and I think it's one of the main missions of Jay Monahan is to just squash and get rid of Live. They actually said that during the Senate hearings of like the only thing they've even agreed on in the framework is like, oh, and by the way, like, we're getting rid of Live Golf is pretty much what Monahan put in there. So this whole thing too, I think is I heard Eamon Lynch kind of talking about this yesterday, was kind of a job saving, a little bit of a cushion for a few months at least of Jay Monahan, because it was put explicitly in Tiger Woods' statement that he has the confidence of Jay Monahan. So clearly that was like, all right, we'll give you this board position. Please say something nice about Jay so that the whole world doesn't hate him as much. So I kind of laughed too that was included in there. So good for Jay. Seems to be surviving for now. And then something that kind of got swept under the rug, I feel like, was, I think it was last week that the PGA Tour announced that they're rejecting the golf ball rollback. They're just not going to accept it, which, on that front, I think that's pretty much where we kind of ended up on the whole thing, talking with TaylorMade about it, and realizing that the onus for this whole thing would fall on the golf manufacturers, to like golf equipment manufacturers, to create a new ball that would only be used like in elite level competitions, which is a very vague term of like what's elite, like what technically is an elite level competition, whatever. Anyways, PGA Tour basically said, nope, we're rejecting that. They said that we're not going to accept or, we're not going to support the modified local rule as proposed. So it'll be very interesting to see how that shakes down, because if the USGA goes through with it, there's a chance that you would have 2 tournaments a year, because it'd probably be the USGA and RNA, I think, are going to agree on it. You would have maybe 2 tournaments a year where people have to use a different golf ball, which would be fucking wild. So yeah.
It is funny that we're going to get back to a time where whether or not they're going to roll back the golf ball is the biggest bit of news. And it is a big bit of news. It is important. Like, the PGA Tour is talking about it, the USGA is talking about it, the RNA is talking about it. But there was a time, a lot of it during when this podcast was going on, where it was like, are they going to roll back the golf ball or not? For the last 2 years, it's been like, is the entire world of golf going to split in half, and who is going to go where? But yeah, the rollback thing, again, I didn't dive deep into it totally, but it just seems crazy to roll back the golf ball. That has always seemed insane to me, and it will be crazy if the USGA and the RNA agree to it, and 2 tournaments a year we have a golf ball that just isn't the same as the rest of the year. That will be honestly outrageous.
Yeah, the rollback is rollback's really interesting, because there's a part of me that does want to see the difference it makes as a viewer. I would like to watch a tournament and see how much of a difference it would make. I think that'd be interesting if it was just like the Rollback Open and we were just like, all right, how much different is this than every other championship that we watch, right? If they did it if they did it in the US Open, would it just be absolute chaos? Would guys not be able to be like reaching it over these bunkers and carrying all the shit that they present for a US Open type golf course? It'd be complete carnage, right? That's what we are expecting, but maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe these guys would just persevere and just play the same golf that we're expecting of them, and it just wouldn't be that big of a difference. I'd be interested to see a full field, full tournament, high stakes, hard golf course. What does that ball do?
Yeah. I would love to see. I mean, it's a great point. Like, I would like to see them present the US Open exactly as they've presented it, except you have to use this golf ball. Like, don't roll back the golf course, like knowing that you're rolling back the golf ball. Be like, let's just do it first. Let's go to Pinehurst number 2 next year, and let's do the rollback US Open, but just present the course exactly like they were going to present it. And are the scores going to go from the winner is 8 under to like 12 over because of this new golf ball? Like, what's the difference going to be? I would love to see that. I would have loved to seen it like at Wingfoot. Like, if next year were a Wingfoot type US Open where Bryson was able to shoot, 6 under or whatever the hell he shot when, we were doing all of the behind the greens and we were hyping it up, how hard that golf course is. People have won the US Open at Wingfoot before at 5 over, 7 over par. if you went and just played that exact US Open with this golf ball to see, where they're going to be at. So I don't know that they can really roll it back at this point based on all the feedback and everything that's come out and the response that's come out. I guess their best move is probably just to like stop it at this point, right? Like just stop the advancement of the golf ball or the equipment or the drivers or whatever it might be. But yeah, it might be wild if they have 2 tournaments where there's just a different golf ball. It'd be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph. We got Kyle Rudolph on this show, right? You guys are going to chit chat with our boy, Big Country, here soon?
We've got Big Country and I believe Colonel Rooney, the founder of the Folds of Honor Foundation. He'll be coming on the show as well with Kyle Rudolph. Yeah, Rudy's one of our close friends here. Obviously, had an amazing career in the NFL. I don't know if he's announced like what his future plans are, actually. Maybe we can get to talk about that on the podcast. But they're doing this amazing sweepstakes with Alltroo. That's ALLTROO. And we've talked about it. We're going to be doing a big push here so we can get somebody and a guest to Rome for the Ryder Cup. It's like an amazing, all expenses paid. They're paying for the hotel. They're paying for the flight. They're paying for the grounds passes to the Ryder Cup, a swag bag, the whole deal. It's a amazing sweepstakes with Alltroo. $10 minimum donation. We'll get into all that with Kyle Rudolph, why he's doing it, why we're pushing it, what Folds of Honor is, but that's later on in the show.
Love Big Country. What a nice guy. What an insanely nice guy. He's obsessed with golf, too.
Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Created by fans, for fans, Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee, this is the most important part, they guarantee the lowest price. It's a summertime. There are concerts. There are MLB games. Drake is on a crazy tour right now. Luke Bryan, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, it's just every single night there's something happening. I saw Fall Out Boy was in Forest Hills last night. They were tearing it up. Just an amazing, amazing time to go to live events. Live events is just, it's why we live. I've said that many times during these talks about Game Time. It's like you make money, you work, and then you have to spend it on stuff. And live events is like up there for the most important thing to me to spend money on.
Every Insta story I see now is a concert.
Yep.
Someone's out doing something. Yeah, whether it was Fall Out Boy. I saw somebody on my Instagram was at a Nickelback concert last night. Like,
I'm doing standing in lines of clubs I'll never
get in. So there's concerts happening all over the place, and you got to get involved. Be one of these people who is rubbing it in other people's faces that you're at a concert and they're not. That's what it's all about, and use Game Time to do it.
And the purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone with no printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game or concert seamlessly. Skip the hassle and just enjoy the moment with Game Time. So download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Go to Game Time app right now. Redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase on Game Time.
Riggs, you're at the Wyndham.
Yeah, I'm at the Wyndham Championship. I'm going to be going straight from this recording to the Pro-Am, where I'll be playing. I'm playing with a couple other amateurs, like business guys, and then we got Cameron Champ, and we've got Brendan Todd, are our 2 amateurs that we're playing with today. Excited to watch Cam Champ hit the golf ball. He's one of the biggest hitters out there. So yeah, I'm really excited to see his game up close. And then B Todd is kind of a Kisner practice round, kind of guy. I feel like we've mixed it up with him before in that scenario, but haven't really spent a ton of time with him. He's also, I love his game because he doesn't hit it particularly far, but he had that stretch a couple years ago. He won like 3 fucking times. Remember that when he was like red hot a couple years ago? I feel like maybe it was like right before the pandemic. Yeah. And he was a big comeback, kind of like Steve Stricker kind of guy, where he lost it, came back, won a bunch of times on the PGA Tour in a very short span. And for a guy that doesn't bomb it by any stretch of the imagination, has been able to have a fantastic career out there. So excited to kind of see his game and chit chat with those guys too. And then, yeah, it's always cool when you play the golf course the day before the tournament. And Sedgefield is a Donald Ross course. Love Donald Ross. And then it's the last chance. It's the last chance for guys to get in there. Justin Thomas is here. There's a buzz about JT being here. This is talking with Mark Brazel, who's the tournament director, here last night, having a couple beers at the bar. And I was like, is this the biggest kind of like name or the person that's played here since Tiger? And he was like, I think so. Like Spieth and Ricky both played here when they were going through it, but I don't think there was as much spotlight really on them because they were kind of like still going through it. Where JT, it feels like the last couple of weeks out of nowhere, which probably sucks for him. It really got highlighted that like, oh, JT sucks now. Like it went from, or he's been sucking through the year. Like I feel like nobody was talking about that 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden, maybe when he missed the cut at, I guess he shot that 82 or whatever it was at the British, everyone, like all of the storylines were just about how bad JT's year's been. So they were kind of saying, I think this is the biggest, kind of name player situation to be here since 2015 when Tiger Woods was here.
That's got to be a different feeling for JT when he pulls up to a golf tournament. For the last however many years, it's when JT pulls up to a golf tournament, it's like, holy shit, there's JT. He can easily win this thing. What a talent. He can move the ball like nobody else, blah, blah, blah. Now when he shows up to a golf tournament, it's like, is that guy going to make the cut? He sucks right now, which is bizarre. I mean, he missed the cut at the 3M. He's shooting in the 80s at all the major championships. Like, what a strange little stretch for JT's career. Now, I think he's going to get through it. I mean, he's one of the most talented golfers we've ever seen. But for right now, when he pulls up to Sedgefield in Greensboro, North Carolina, it's like, what's going to happen with this guy?
Yeah. Dude, we were saying, Kirk was saying, like, if it weren't for that one, I think it was the third round maybe at the Travelers Championship where he went really low, it would be just a horrific stretch. He's missed 5 out of 7 cuts. I was talking with his agent Lance last night, who's a super nice guy, and we were kind of going through. JT had a moment at the match play this year where it was like if Sam Burns or somebody wins or finishes certainly high. I think JT was 9th in the world at the time. He will move outside of the top 10 for the first time in 7 years, which was the longest stretch of anyone out there that's remained inside the top 10 for that long. And now he's down to like 24th or something of that nature. And then if you did the world ranking points just for this year, because a lot of that's from last year, he won a major last year, all that, like he would be very, very, very down there on the list of world ranking points for a guy that hasn't really been outside of it at all. And then, we were talking a couple weeks ago about how, him on the Ryder Cup and his chances, and I was calling it an absolute lock. And then we loved that, like, oh, he's going to play the 3M and he's going to play the Wyndham, and like, that'll obviously get him in. And then like, if he misses the cut at both of them, I think that might be like, I don't know that we can take Justin Thomas for the Ryder Cup.
Justin Thomas is number 26 in the world right now.
It's crazy.
Which is bizarre.
It's fucking nuts to think about. And that's coming off last year. He won a major championship last year. So it's like he's like still kind of getting help from all of that. I saw that John Rahm, he kind of weighed in. He did this podcast. I'd like to give him credit. He did this podcast, this like Spanish podcast, I believe that it is, like golf. It was like, I think it was called Golf. Basically, it looked like it said the title of it was Golf Etiquette, but in Spanish, like Golf Etiquettes or whatever the hell it might be.
Is it like is it an alternate world Spanish podcast where it's like us, but in Spanish?
I hope so. It's Bizarro
No,
World.
that's
like
those One Putt Columbia guys. Remember that?
Oh yeah. One Putt Columbia. Those are our guys. Yeah.
Those are our guys. Ron was going on, and he said on Justin Thomas, he was like, if I'm Zach Johnson, I would choose Justin Thomas without a doubt. It is the same case as Sergio Garcia in 2018. And then he also said, I love Ron. Like, it's just the way, like, reading these quotes, I just know how he said it. It got me all excited. But he said, with all respect for European players, the only one from Live that I would choose for Ryder Cup would be Sergio, even if he was missing a leg, he said. And then he also, on this guy, Pablo Larrazabal, who I don't really know much of, but he pops up on the DP World Tour. He goes, I told Luke that we have this guy Pablo who has won 2 times on the DP World Tour, and if you need someone to make a 2-meter putt to win on the 18th hole, Pablo has the balls to make that. You have someone who knows how to win when he's in that position. I liked that he said a 2-meter putt, like just thinking through John Rahm's brain. Like, I've never heard a putt called a 2-meter putt. I think that's like 6 feet. And just him saying he has the balls to make a 6-foot putt on the last hole. So John Rahm kind of weighed in and said, to bring it back to JT, that ZJ should pick him.
Just to play devil's advocate, John Rahm saying that JT should be on the Ryder Cup team is a little bit of conflict of interest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point.
With JT, it's interesting. So Nuclear Golf put out one of his quotes from the Wyndham, and it made its rounds. And I want to know what you guys think about it, because JT basically said that he hasn't been playing the golf that he wants to be playing. He's obviously not playing to Justin Thomas caliber, but he feels like he hasn't been playing poorly. He's just not getting what he wants to get out of the round. So he made the comment that on Friday he played really well, but 2 swings cost him literally 5 strokes. And he says that if those 2 swings just go the way they usually go, he's T15 going into the weekend. I mean, he had 7 birdies on the Friday and then made 2 doubles with 2 lapses or maybe 2 bad bounces. I don't know how those doubles came about. I didn't watch it, obviously, but we can all relate to that on like a regular amateur golf level, where you're like, man, I actually feel like for 16 holes, I played really, really good golf today. And it was just those 2 moments of like, what happened there that just ruined my day, right? I mean, it literally is breaking 90.
Every episode of Breaking 90 is that exact thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just such a frustrating sport, but you just don't see that at the professional level. Like, I saw a lot of the responses to that tweet were like, well, that's just golf. Like, those 2 swings are just like golf. Like if you can't just say like, if they were birdies, I would have won the tournament, because that anyone can say that ever. Anyone could have ever said that against Tiger Woods with all the majors he won. Like, oh, well, I mean, Tiger just made the putt and I didn't. If I would have made the putt, I would have been the next Tiger Woods. I get that you can't say that, but both things can be true. Yes, you can't like say the double bogey should have been a birdie, but you also can't say that you didn't have a good round just because of 1 hole. I think that you did have a good round. You made 6 birdies, you made 7 birdies, you were parring every single other hole. 2 times you just got a bad bounce. Maybe you hit a cart path. Maybe you hit the fucking flag stick and it went into the water. Like, you never know with the game. And I could feel the frustration coming from Justin Thomas. Obviously, we all can. We know that this guy's grinding. He's playing the 3M. He's playing the Wyndham. He's trying to get into the playoffs. He's trying to get into the Ryder Cup. But he's got to be sitting there being like, I know my game. I know I'm hitting the ball well. I'm flagging irons. I'm hitting every fairway. I'm not scoring right now. That's got to be fucking frustrating.
Yeah. No, and look, I'm going to give JT the benefit of the doubt on that one. Like, I think the batter always knows, right? And as the player, like, there's a huge difference between knowing you're pretty close and being where like Kevin Kisner is right now. Like, Kevin Kisner is optioning golf. He is like, he won here 2 years ago. He didn't play 3M. He didn't play because he was at Travelers. He went out there. He didn't feel great about his game for obvious reasons, played horrific. And he's like, you know what? I need time off to figure this shit out. Whereas JT is not there, even though like it might look, if you just look at the data, like they're in a pretty similar spot. I think that if JT's talking about his game the way he is, there's a huge difference. And as a guy like me, I shoot 81 all the time. And there are very different 81s. There are some where you're like, that should have been an 81. That was an 81 all day, baby. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm kind of hitting it all over the place and like scraping it around. And there are times when you're like, dude, how did I shoot 81? I'm hitting it so good. Like, I'm right there. And so if JT says that, like, I believe him. And the way he's kind of spoken, he's like, the last month or so, I've been in a great headspace. Like, I really do feel good about my game. He said right before the US Open, which I think his first round or something, he shot that 80, where he was like, dude, I honestly, going into that, I felt like I was playing as good a golf as I'd ever played in my life. And if we remember, I think it was like Max Homa that said on Tuesday or something, he's like, dude, JT just shot like 28 on the front 9 in the practice round, basically. So I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. He might be saying a little bit of that too for media, for Zach Johnson to be like, no, dude, I'm playing great. Like, I know the scores aren't there, but I'm right there, baby. Don't worry about me. But I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think that any golfer knows there's a big difference between shooting a shitty number that you're not even close, and shooting a shitty number but being like, no, I'm good. I'm hitting it really good.
Yeah. He says it's like flipping a light switch. He feels like it's going to happen. It's just going to be as quick as that. Putts are going to start finding the bottom of the hole. The hole's going to start looking bigger and bigger. And then it's just going to be birdie fest for Justin Thomas. A lot of the responses are like, tell you what, say what you need to yourself, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you sleep at night. Yeah. I mean, if that's just positive reinforcement and positive self-talk, then like, sure. I mean, if that's what's going to get this guy back, then that I'm all for it. Justin Thomas is a premier top titty athlete and talent for the United States. If he's not on the Ryder Cup team, I think you're insane. I think if you're just straight up, just an analytical guy, And if anyone's going to call me hypocritical when we were arguing against Kevin Kisner from back in the day when Riggsy went Riggsy turncoast, you're insane. Justin Thomas is so much better than our guy Kevin Kisner. I just feel like skill level wise, it's crazy to not pick Justin Thomas. He has it in his body. He's got it. He's got it in there. How do you not pick that guy to fucking play for your country when you know what he's done for us? You know what he's capable of is the question. Is that's the final nail for me, is you know what he's capable of. How do you not pick that?
Oh, Trent's on mute.
Trent's on mute.
How'd he get on mute?
Trent's on the most mute anyone's ever been on.
Oh no.
You're off.
No,
I'm back.
You're back.
What were you saying, Trent? That was so
I thought that was a
interesting.
great
Your lips were moving.
I thought it was a great Justin Thomas rant. What I was saying is he's a guy who gets up for that event. Like, again, I don't want to get into the intangibles of a Ryder Cup pick because that's, again, what we kind of got into the last time around. But he's got the monumental, huge, top titty talent, as Frankie called it. And he's just a guy who loves that
great
event.
Great pair of tits. Like, Justin Thomas is
great pair of tits.
Justin Thomas is the greatest pair of tits you'll ever see in your life. No,
it's up there.
That's Tiger Woods. But Justin Thomas is like, you just know him when you see him. They're jiggling. You're walking by them in the city. Maybe you're not looking because that's not right, but you see them. You know that they're in your point of view. You know that you're looking.
The whole
straight,
room knows. The whole street knows.
Oh, my peripheral vision, man! Are you kidding me? You see them. You can feel them. You can not physically because that would be
you can't. Don't.
No, you can't. I'm saying you can
if you get
feel
permission, if it's consensual, for sure you can feel them. But
right?
if not,
yes.
then
yes has to be said multiple times. But I'm saying that. You can feel it's almost like the waves, you know what I mean? It's like the tectonic plates. It's like you could feel the vibrations and earthquakes coming. That's Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas is those type of tits.
I agree.
Not too big. They're perfect.
Look, I've been known to go down some wild roads when it comes to Ryder Cup picks for sure. I'm going to concede that Justin Thomas is better golfer than Kevin Kisner. I'm going to concede that Justin Thomas absolutely should be on this Ryder Cup team. I don't think it's even close. I don't think you can even I don't care. Like Rom said about Sergio, if he's got one leg, I think you got to put him on there. He's Justin fucking Thomas. He's the guy. He rallies the troops at the President's Cup. He's out there jumping in Tiger's arms at the Ryder Cups. He's out there with Spieth going fucking crazy. The year in Paris when we sucked, Justin Thomas was excellent. So you just got to go with JT. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. I hope he plays well this week for the United States Ryder Cup team chances. I hope that he gets himself into the playoffs. But even if he doesn't, even if he misses the cut this week, I know at the beginning of the show I was saying it's starting to get a little bit dire. The chatter, the public discourse will be a little bit, harsher on him. But JT's he's the guy. He is like the Ryder Cup team. He is the Ryder Cup team. He has to be on that team.
If Justin Thomas misses the playoffs, misses the cut here at the Wyndham, and gets picked for the Ryder Cup team, he's going to get shit on publicly, in the news, in the media. Everyone's going to shit on Mr. Iowa Corn Boy, and everyone's going to go crazy. And what's going to happen is Justin Thomas is going to internalize all of that stuff, and he's going to unleash his Captain America, his Ryder Cup faithful. He loves playing for his country. He shows up. He's the bright lights golfer. He's going to fucking light that place in Rome on fire. He is going to just completely dominate. That's the kind of guy he is. And listen, if he doesn't, then I'm just wrong. But I'm taking that stance. I'm riding Justin Thomas. I think that he shows up in the big moments. What you've done for me has to mean something.
Yeah.
That has to be some sort of metric. That's got to be some sort of stat. That's got to be some sort of analytical, whatever you're putting into your Excel sheet about who should be on that team. What you've done for me lately and in the past should matter. And he's mattered at the fucking Ryder Cup.
And he's a match play guy. He's fiery. He's just like fucking fiery.
Mm-hmm.
Gets into it. He can hit the shots. It's a different bear. So yeah, when you're going in, the fact that we're going into Europe too, US hasn't won in like 30 years or something in Europe. You're going to go over there without Justin Thomas? No fucking chance. You got to have JT on your squad. So I think he'll be there regardless. It'd be nice to see him play this week. I think he's a lock. I think Zach Johnson's going to pick him no matter what.
Barstool Sportsbook. We all have it. We all love it. We're constantly just checking out lines for golf. We've got the Wyndham this week. We picked out our For the Cut bets. That's on the website right now. That's on the app, the Barstool Sportsbook app. I was in Chicago. We were all in Chicago for the for the Corn Ferry Tour. And as I was on the plane, I went on the Barstool Sportsbook and I placed a wager, and a healthy wager, on the New York Yankees to win the game against the Tampa Bay Rays, because I was thinking, the trade deadline's coming up. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm going to get home tonight. I'm going to sit down. They're opening up a huge series against the Tampa Bay Rays at home. Yankee Stadium's going to be buzzing. Hopefully we make a trade or two. And it's just like, Judge is back. And I really thought that it was going to be it. And they got absolutely crushed. I think it was 6-1. And then the next night, I was like, all right, we're going to go again. They lost again. So it's just the Yankees are dead. But there's nothing better than that.
They made a huge move at the deadline. They made a big deadline move.
They made 0 deadline moves. The New York Yankees made 0 deadline moves. They went and got like 2 right-handed pitchers from I don't even know where. And that's just the life of being a Yankee fan. But my point is that watching that game, I probably wouldn't even have turned it on because of how abysmal they've been. But having that action on the Barstool Sportsbook made it a million times better. I was able to actually enjoy the first inning at least because I thought I had a chance, and it's great. We are on a roll when it comes to the For the Cut bet. We're highs and lows, but mostly highs. We are definitely in the green when it comes to the For the Cut bet, so make sure you check that out. We always have great bets in the exclusive section of the Barstool Sportsbook app. So download and sign up for the Barstool Sportsbook today. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's an amazing app. It moves seamlessly. It's brand new too, so there's no bugs and there's no little kinks and all of that stuff. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. The Barstool Sportsbook app. Download it now.
How's Greensboro?
Greensboro is awesome. So the reason I came back is because last year Kiz was the defending champ. They sent that Honda jet up there, which was really cool, little executive jet to pick up Kiz. And they said, if you could, Kiz, if we'll send a jet, if you could maybe bring Riggs too, and he can kind of promote the event a little bit. I said, sure. Came down, had an amazing time. The people of Greensboro, it's one of those events that like the whole town, the whole city, they just love the fact that the tour comes here, that it highlights their city. Everybody's into it. People are taking off work, going out to the course. They're good people in North Carolina. I love North Carolina. So coming to Greensboro is always a highlight. Fat Perez is here. We had a great time last night. That guy cracks me up. He's playing at the Pro-Am today as well. And then there's a concert tonight. Yeah, Wyndham Championship. If anybody, please tune in. It's a great golf course. The greens are amazing. We had Tom Kim last year, if you remember. He made the quad on the first hole of the tournament and then won the golf tournament, which was his first ever win. And then like a month or two later became kind of the President's Cup star for the international team. But this was sort of his launching pad. But tonight, there's a concert tonight in Greensboro, and it's the Goo Goo Dolls and OAR.
Whoa!
Wait, OAR too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking Mark Roberge?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good concert.
I know. I've never
Goo
seen
Goo Dolls have
live.
actual bangers, man.
Dude, Iris.
Red black balloon, make me fly. Is that Goo Goo Dolls?
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Iris is a great one.
I was listening to that this morning. I threw that on Spotify this morning. Oh. They got some great songs over there. So
to see it.
That's
sometimes I get Goo Goo Dolls and Goo Goo Dolls and Matchbox 20 confused, but they're both great.
3 a.m. is that Matchbox 20? 3 a.m. and I must be alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Push is Matchbox 20.
So I'm very excited.
Are you going to the concert, Riggs?
I love that
going to the concert
music, bro.
Going to the concert. We got a box with my boy Mark, who, like it says, is kind of the tournament chair here. He's the man. And then tomorrow we're going to go to the tournament for pretty much most of the day. Walk around out there. They got that beach where they get like actors out there on the beach that look amazing. And then they've got they do the sandcastle. They got a huge sandcastle because it's Wyndham. So I'll be out there soaking it all in, playing in the Pro-Am today. So I love being here. I love the Wyndham. And it's the people's last chance to try to get into the FedEx Cup playoffs. So toss on the broadcast. It won't be quite the same as last week's broadcast that you watched. It'll be quite different, I imagine. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. United Airlines. I got almost a disaster with United Airlines because I had to catch a bunch of flights. I'm on the road for a while because I'm not going back to Arizona till probably the end of the month. And I going from Chicago to Columbus late Sunday night. I was turning around and flying out of Columbus Monday night at 6:00. and my bag, my clothes bag with all of my stuff, all my goodies, every fucking thing I need for the next like 5 weeks was in that bag, and it didn't show up. And I was like, here's the situation that we're dealing with here, United Airlines, is that if I leave this town tonight or tomorrow night, this was Sunday, on Monday night, and I don't have that bag, I know for a fact that that bag is then going to chase me around the country, and we're never going to actually reunite. And this is going to be last summer all over again, where I went like Jesus Christ. I went 41 days and 41 nights without my bag. I didn't have any of my clothes. And amazingly, I wake up the next day and I do the bag check thing on the United, whatever. And it's like, we can't locate your bag. Once we locate your bag, we'll update you. And it's like noon now in fucking Columbus. I'm like, it's over. It's over. This bag's over. I'm going to have to go to the pro shop, buy a bunch of stuff, whatever. My bag was put on the first flight from Chicago to Columbus and was just waiting for me at the airport. So I went that night to go get on my next flight, grab my bag, staved off disaster. So shout out to United Airlines. I understand it happens. You lose some bags, but they were able to get that thing on the next flight and stave off a massive disaster, which was huge for me. So shout out to United Airlines.
That's beautiful. I'm seeing Oppenheimer in about 5 hours, 6 hours. No, maybe even more. Yeah, I got a 6 o'clock showing. So I'm very excited.
7 hours.
7 hours. I'm very excited. I'm super, super pumped. Do you guys like
good preview? Good movie preview.
Do you guys make conscious decisions when you know you're going to the movies about what you're going to eat prior, or is popcorn something that you can eat regardless of what you have beforehand?
Yeah, I think it'll fill in any part that's not filled.
Right.
You can eat whatever you want before you go.
Because there's discussions happening in a group chat. We're going with a bunch of people, and they're like, "Do we want to have dinner right before, or did you guys want to have a big lunch? Considering we're eating a lot of popcorn and snacks and soda." And I said, I don't know about you guys, but popcorn to me is an after. Like it's happening regardless of what I eat. I could literally go have burritos, nachos, guac, all that shit, and then roll right into a large popcorn. The popcorn it's like dessert. No matter how full you are, you're eating it.
Let me put it this way. You are not going to eat enough popcorn that is going to substitute for a dinner.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I do get it as the biggest popcorn you can get.
Still, it's not going to be like you would have with a Moe's burrito or whatever.
Right. Ooh, I was thinking about doing Moe's right before too. Moe's into an extra large popcorn is some sick shit though.
Yeah,
that's
I think
disturbing.
You need to pre-eat, I think, before you do that. I got to get ahead of something that I said last time when I talked about my Oppenheimer experience, that I got chicken fingers and fries in there. But I want people to understand that was out of necessity. That was not a planned situation. What had happened was I was outside in 115-degree weather pre-movie. I had to film a bunch of shit to get done because we were going to be in Chicago all week, and I was up against the clock. I didn't get to eat dinner. And so here I did. I found myself at Oppenheimer at 7 o'clock at night. I'm going to miss all dinner because Oppenheimer is like 1,000,000 hours long. And so I had to get dinner and a popcorn at the same time. I would get ahead of the fact that might be a little bit hypocritical because I don't think that's the right move. I was pigeonholed into that move in the moment. I think you're supposed to do Moe's maybe, Frankie, like now, and then eat in a few hours. You can kind of be re-hungry again and eat some popcorn and go through the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I'll do like a 4 o'clock meal. Perfect. Give myself that 2 hours, let it digest. If I have to go to the bathroom, I hit it at the movie theater, maybe like right before I go up to get the food. And then I'm just clean. I'm just cleared out, ready to go, ready to watch some serious acting from Cillian Murphy. I cannot wait. I'm going to be such a snob watching this thing. I'm going to this is cinema to me. You know what I mean? I'm really going to cinema my ass off at this thing. I can't wait. I want it to be boring. I want to love all the little intricacies of it. I want to love the score. I want to love the fucking neuroscience or whatever they're going to get into, right? I want to know everything. I want to talk about splitting atoms. I want to see tears. I want to see his ball sack. I heard you see his ball sack. I want to see a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah. I heard full on penetration, the whole deal. I want to see it all.
I would say a top 25 movie for me.
Yeah, man. Wow. Fuck yeah. I want to go back and read all the tweets and all the takes, and I want to officially finally watch Stephen Che's video. I've been not watching it because I said I don't want any negative press leading into it.
He's a loser. I guess it's just
I don't want
0 out of
I'm going to
10.
give him the time of day. I'm going to watch it after. I'm just not going to watch it pre, and then I'll see how I feel about it once it's over. Yeah, so I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Might be higher, but it's definitely top 25 for me. Once I see it again, it might continue to even climb. But it is a great cinema experience too. The way it's scored, it's excellent. You're in for a treat tonight.
Do you only get popcorn or do you get candy as well?
So I saw so Whiplash is probably my favorite movie of all time, and in that movie they dump like chocolate into the. No, it's not a Drumline knockoff. Actually, it's cinema is what it is, and Drumline's just like an SNL sketch. But at the end of the day, they in the movie they take a large popcorn and he puts all like the chocolate in it. It's just like a quick scene. They're seeing a movie, him and his dad, and I always thought about like, man, that is nice because you always hear the sweet and salty, and that combo goes really well. But I would never dump the chocolate into the popcorn. I think that's insane. But what I've been doing ever since I saw Whiplash is I do get my cookie dough bites on the side, right? And I'll have one bite of the chocolate, and then I'll have a whole scoop of the popcorn, and that sensation will
great.
Just fucking get me going. It releases something in there. I can feel it behind my earlobes. Is what I can really. The things are firing off, and then when I run out of the chocolate, the popcorn starts to become a bit plain, because I don't have that sensation anymore. So what I do is I'll eat plain popcorn for the first hour of the movie, and then I'll really send us home with the chocolate popcorn combo.
You know what's one of my favorite movie candies?
You like that, Trent?
Yeah, he does.
Trent's got a fucking hard on right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I love going in with a plan.
He is salivating.
It's like eating. Like you always save that last bite on your plate. I talked to you the other day, Trent, about that final bite of a fajita that you make at a Mexican restaurant. That final bite where all the sour cream. Oh my god.
Sour cream. Give me all the sour cream.
When all the sour cream. When all the sour cream. I can't say it. Sour cream. That R to R is tough. That sour cream. That sour cream gets. When all that sour cream gets pushed to the edge of the flour tortilla, and you know that maybe you have a little bit of steak left, or maybe a piece of shrimp, you got a little half of that green pepper in there, there's an onion in there, but you know it's going to be that last bite. You've been waiting for it. It's almost like you're eating the rest just to get to that last one.
I also like that you go in with a plan, because I'm a Milk Dud man. But I would do the same thing, but I would crush the Milk Duds before the movie even starts. No. So I like that you eat the popcorn plain for an hour, and then when you're really getting into the plot of the movie, you're throwing the cookie dough bites in, and now you're having a real experience. Me, I'm sitting there like an asshole. I ate 80 Milk Duds within the first 10 minutes, and now I'm just stuck with plain popcorn the rest of the time.
I also realized halfway through the movie that however long I've been sitting there hasn't been really more than 2 seconds that I'm not reaching for the popcorn and putting it in my mouth. One of my buddies mentioned it to me once, where they're like, you haven't stopped moving your elbow for an hour and a half. If you think about it, it's a constant eating experience. Constant.
Is he saying that it's annoying to him, or
no,
is he just noticing?
It's just an observation where maybe it would get annoying. We talked about the tits and the peripheral vision before. That might get annoying of someone nonstop eating. There's never a moment where I'm just sitting and watching, ever.
No, I'm the same way. I never stop. I gotta have constant going in. That's interesting. I'm not gonna change, but that's interesting observation.
Changing. I'm not stopping tonight.
Shock Tarts. That's one of my favorite movie candies. If they have them, because Shock Tarts will get your brain going, dude. It will get you going because it's just
that's like cocaine.
Yeah. Yep. And you're just in it. Like when you take that, and the kind of the contrast between that and popcorn is enormous.
That's straight sugar.
I didn't even know they made Shock Tarts anymore, but I used to eat Shock Tarts so much. When you brought that up, I felt it in my jowls. I felt it right here.
Frank, right. But I felt it like right behind, kind of under my ears, like Frankie was talking about with the chocolate earlier. When he said that, I could feel the Shock Tart, and I got excited.
It's that little sour feeling.
Jump. Yep. Yep.
How strange is the brain? I haven't had shock darts in probably 20 years, but I used to always get them. They were on the lowest shelf at the Quick Star, or I guess it was probably a Quick Star. And I would just fill my mouth with them, and I can still, as a 34-year-old man, I can feel it right here. That's unbelievable.
You know what candy gets me that feeling? My uncle Michael, we used to watch every Harry Potter movie together. He'd bring me to the new Harry Potter movie every year. We would wait online, the midnight release. We'd do the whole thing. Never missed one. It was awesome. And he would always bring me sour Skittles in the green bag.
Ooh.
And I loved Skittles. Obviously, a little skinny kid. I had the Gatorade thing around my lips and the whole deal. I was just a fucking running around like curly hair and shit. I loved Skittles. When I got introduced to the sour Skittles, I used to get that little feeling. And I remember when he would almost he'd throw them at me and laugh. Like he'd get in the car and he'd toss 3 bags on my lap in the car, and I'd start to get, you could feel it behind the jowls, like what you're saying. It would almost start to swell up, because that you're prepared for a sour, sugary experience.
Yeah.
Nothing better than that shit, man. Nothing better than that.
That's
shit.
Living.
And you're saying the brain's weird. When I think of Harry Potter, my jowls get like that, because I can think, it's almost like you're piecing it together. You think of Harry Potter, then you think of the sour Skittles, and then
that's
you think about
Pavlovian. That's Pavlov's dogs.
Right. Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. But I'm really excited to eat some popcorn tonight now. You guys have gotten me jacked up to enter that concession stand. Today's episode is brought to you by Whoop, the official fitness wearable of the PGA and LPGA tours. If you don't know by now, Whoop is a sleek, screenless wearable that tracks your sleep, strain, recovery, stress, and more to provide you with the personalized insights that help you reach your goals. We're all on the Whoop train. It's been hell of a week for me on the Whoop. Ever since we started in Chicago last Monday, I've been on just quite the health kick. Obviously, leading up to the wedding, I really tried to dial things in, and I just feel like I'm hitting my peak right now when it comes to recovery and strain and sleep. I'm 100% sleep for 8 days in a row now.
Wow.
I'm at recovery. I've been in the green for 8 days in a row now. My HRV was 130 yesterday. It's just we're getting places right now. I mean, this morning my HRV is 115.
Dude,
we're really rolling right now.
I think there was something in the water in Chicago, because my HRV today was 124.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it hasn't been that way. And I've been tracking. I've been wearing the Whoop for years now. I'm usually a 60s, 70s guy. Something about, maybe it was just the positive vibes. Maybe it was you guys going to the gym and me thinking about going to the gym, just put my HRV through the roof. But I've been sleeping great. I'm at a 98% today. Mm-hmm. I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to do things. And I wouldn't know any of that if I wasn't wearing a Whoop. Dude, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm at 98%.
Look at these guys. We got a couple guys in the green right now, just absolutely loving life on Whoop. It's a great wearable, like you said, screenless. It tracks every single thing that you need, whether you're obsessed with squeezing out a little bit more effort in the gym, shoot your lowest score in the golf course, get those extra hours of sleep a week. Whoop helps you build better habits and make you healthier, help you make healthier choices. And one of their brand new features is the Strength Trainer and Stress Monitor, so you can finally track your intensity of your weightlifting or manage your stress levels with real-time stress scores and science-backed breath work that they'll help you out. So Trent, you have all the stress. You can see your stress as you're teeing off on 18 for breaking 90. You'll see Trent wearing it, and he can go to his phone and check how stressed out was he standing up to the 18th tee.
Very stressed out. Very, very stressed out. That would be my guess.
Go to join.whoop.com/Fore, Fore, to get your 1 month free trial on Whoop and unlock the best version of yourself. That's join.whoop.com/Fore, Fore, for a 1 month free trial on Whoop.
A couple more things before I leave you guys. I'm playing Arcadia Bluffs next week. I'm very excited. We're going to be up there for Barstool Classic at Grand Traverse Resort. So we'll probably play there as well. Me and Lurch played there. It's excellent. And then we're going to buzz over, and a couple folks from the team. We got Ryan, who's from CMS. Everybody knows Ryan behind the scenes. He's like the high energy, best guy ever. He's playing with us. We got Social Rob, and we got Peter. are going to play a little Arcadia Bluffs before we leave town. So I'm incredibly jacked up. That might be the number one most recommended course I see that people tweet at us and DM us all the time. And then, did you guys get a chance to watch yet our Telescopes documentary, the James Webb Telescope documentary on Netflix?
No, there's a James Webb Telescope documentary on Netflix?
Dude, one of the nights might have been while we were in Chicago, and get back at like 9. We did a great job of that all week. Got back at like 9. Had a couple hours where I was going to probably fall asleep, and I'm scrolling through the flicks, and fucking bang, there it is. Just our telescope with its giant mirror and the fucking tarp and the whole, or the whatever the thing that blocks it, the shield, they call it the sun shield, I think, is just right in my face. I was like, what? And it's like an hour-long documentary going through basically from conception until that puppy launches and the first images come back from the James Webb Telescope. And it's fucking excellent. It gave me the chills. It was like, we are doing it. Humanity is doing it. This is monumental. This is outside of Earth. This thing is going into space. It had, I think, they talk about these like fail-safe points. I can't remember exactly what they call them, but there's a number of them that are basically points at which, if this thing doesn't occur properly, the whole mission's a failure. Like there's some that you can recover from, but there's some, and they talk about how the James Webb Telescope, I think, had 324 of those points, and the next most in history was like 100 or something, and this thing had like 300 something operations that had to go perfectly, and if they don't, the whole mission was just a failure. And it goes through the whole deal, and like how nervous it is when these things were unfolding, and the big sun shield had to like deploy properly, and the whole deal. It's fucking great. So you guys need to watch that. And that's all I got.
All right.
Real quickly before you go, I'm playing a very unique and interesting round of golf on Thursday. So we were coming back from a Barstool Classic or something. I can't remember where we were flying back from, but I was flying to JFK. And sometimes on the route of JFK, you fly right over Long Island. It'll go over the ocean, and then it'll come back around, and you'll fly right over like East Meadow. I could see like my house. I could see Borelli's. You fly over the Coliseum, and then you do that whole spin around that North Shore, Middle Nassau County golf, which is just so good. The North Shore Golf Course, you got the Creek, you got Piping Rock, you've got Garden City Men's Club, you've got everything. You've got Wheatley Hills, Meadowbrook. All these courses are just right in this huge pack. It's crazy to see them just all right next to each other, right? Cherry Valley, Garden City Country Club. And then you see Glen Oaks, and you see Old Westbury Country Club. And then behind there's this estate. And I tweeted about it because we flew over it. And I've been thinking about this golf course for the last 15 years, it feels like. You've heard these whispers about it on Long Island, that there's this hidden golf course behind Glen Oaks and behind Old Westbury Country Club by this billionaire, this 100 millionaire that built a 9-hole, I think it's got extra tee boxes and stuff so you can play even more holes, but he's got a huge house, and he got Reese Jones to come into his backyard and build an absolute oasis with connecting fairways and ponds and a pro shop and a full-time superintendent. It's his backyard. Trees line the property, and on the inside, it looks like Augusta National. There's rumors that like Tiger played it and Phyllis played it before playing Glen Oaks, or like a Wingfoot, they'll stop in and play the Schoenfeld estate. So I tweeted about this, and I'm like, I've wanted to do a behind the greens at this place for my entirety of working at Foreplay for sure, but I've always wanted to step on this property because I'm a Long Island guy. There's a hidden golf course that's like the craziest place you've ever seen. I tweet about it. Within minutes, I'm putting a group text saying next Thursday, we've got 12 guys going out. I got a couple Islanders coming out. I'm bringing a couple of my buddies. I got my best man, Kyle. I got my other buddy, Andrew, one of my best friends. So I got 2 of my best buds coming out. A bunch of the Islanders are going out, and we're playing the golf course that I've always wanted to fucking play on Long Island. Hidden backyard golf course. I will report back. I'll let you guys know what I can say and what I can't say, because I do like the mystery of it. If I do film a behind the greens there, I want to film it like where you don't actually like show the people that are there. Like I was thinking like the first scene would be a guy's getting coffee, and you only show his hand like reaching for the coffee.
Film and then, like a drug kingpin.
A drug kingpin. Yeah, you follow his coffee out to the backyard, and like he opens the door, and it's just an oasis. I mean, I have a lot of ideas. The reason I'm going on Thursday is so I can enjoy it and so that I can lock in a video at this place. I'm telling you right now, I'm coming away with a video at this place one way or another. Hopefully I can. I hope that we get the approval so we can go back. And that's my rant there for my Thursday round. I cannot wait. I'm very excited. I'm excited
to hear about it. I'm very excited to hear about it. Yeah, and then I'll see you boys this weekend. I'm flying up to New York on Friday.
Oh, wow.
Pickleball.
Oh, that's
And
right. Holy shit.
Pickleball Saturday.
That's sneaking up on us.
Coming up real fast.
Pickleball Saturday, the first ever. We've got it on Long Island, Pickle and Par. It's going to be a great event. Big Rob is at the helm of this thing. Big Rob, my buddy from the podcast, he's like the tournament director. We are legitimately hoping that his like Excel sheet and the way that he's done all of these like who plays who is just going to work on Saturday. So it could be a massive success or an incredible failure. And it rests on one man's shoulders. And I couldn't be more excited for it.
Is he going to be there? He's got to be there, right?
Oh, he'll be there Friday setting up. He's got great ideas, man. Like he's hitting me up every day. Like, why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? Like he's like, oh, like the Barstool Classic has a putting contest. Why don't we have some form of that for the Pickleball Open? We already created it now because Big Rob thought of it. A serving contest where if you hit this thing off this thing, you get it. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking perfect. This guy's incredible. He's coming up with ideas. He's just going to find himself working at Barstool. He's going to be on the podcast soon at some point.
100%.
This guy's incredible.
I'm excited. I'll be there Saturday just mingling. Most Barstool Classics, it's like working and whatever. You guys are going to be working. I'm going to be mingling. I'm going to be having drinks probably early at like 9 in. So I'm excited to see the whole
food truck's
thing.
going to be there.
Oh,
we're making pizzas. Yep.
Mr. Borelli Senior is going to be there. Is that right?
Oh, he'll be slinging pizzas. He's slinging. Yep. He'll be parked out front, slinging pizzas like you wouldn't believe. Speaking of pizzas and Borelli's, Dave Portnoy, Pizza Fest, the One Bite Pizza Fest, September 23rd in Coney Island. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Make sure you get them. I'm telling you right now, he said it a million times in his videos. You will never see a better collection of pizzerias that you literally can't get into on a given day. Sally's a Pete's that's in New Haven, Connecticut, has an 1.5 to 2 hour line every single hour of the day. And now you're going to be able to go into this One Bite Pizza Festival and just have not only that, but you're going to have Frank Pepe and you're going to have Modern and all these other places from all around the country. The best pizza places in the country. Lucali, it's crazy. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait. To far the list. Pup Punk's going to be there. Yeah, my dad's going to be there. I'll be there. Yeah, we're playing. It's going to be so. Make sure on Friday you are there for the tickets because those are going to be hard to get as well. So yeah, big stuff happening. A lot of events. A lot of fun shit, though.
Before you guys go, Side Gig comes out. It'll be yesterday at this point with Keegan Bradley.
Side Gig comes out now.
Oh, that's coming out tonight when we're recording, right?
Yeah.
That comes out literally. That came out last night. Side Gig is on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube is firing on all cylinders right now. We've got Barstool Golfs is taking off, breaking 90. We got another one hopefully coming out soon. We've got Riggs is playing a video that's coming out, I think, next week, which is just a Riggs like real good golf update video, 18 holes you played. And we're going to get an amazing update from you and how your game is at, like where your game is at, how you've been playing.
Favorite course in Arizona, the Huico Saguaro course where we did the Super Bowl tournament this last year. So we went out there early. We teed off at like six something. It was me, Bush, and Jonesy, and they just filmed me playing 18 holes in like 3 hours. So it was actually really fun. It was hot, but it was really fun. So that's coming out. So yeah.
And then
Side Gig with Keegan Bradley, dude. Keegan Bradley. That's
Keegan
a good
Bradley.
one.
Danny's just caddying for him. It's just like, it's crazy. It's a crazy video. People are loving it. So make sure that you check that out. And then I just filmed 2 Barstool Golfs with 2 of the more preposterous cartoon characters at Barstool. I can't believe it went well. I can't believe like we didn't get kicked out. I'm not going to give it away. It's just wait until you see the teaser of like what I come up with these characters. It's crazy. You wouldn't believe these guys were on a golf course. You would not believe it.
We got a lot going on.
Have fun with Kyle Rudolph and Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. Please say hi to them for me. Please thank him for his service. And we'll be back next week. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard. If your business earns millions or tens of millions of revenue, stop what you're doing right now and take a listen because NetSuite by Oracle has just rolled out the best offer we have ever seen. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control you need to make better decisions faster. And for the first time in NetSuite's 25 years as the #1 cloud financial system, you can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. That's no payment and no interest for 6 months. And you can take advantage of this special financing offer today. NetSuite is #1 because they give your business everything you need in real time, all in one place to reduce manual process, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity across every single department. More than 36,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. If you've been sizing NetSuite up to make the switch, then you know right now that this deal is unprecedented. No interest, no payments. Take advantage of this special financing offer at netsuite.com/Fore, F-O-R-E. That's netsuite.com/Fore to get the visibility and control you need to weather any storm. netsuite.com/Fore. All right, we are now honored to be joined by two guests, two recurring guests actually on the Foreplay podcast here. First off, I want to say that we are so happy to have Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, a decorated F-16 fighter pilot, best known for founding the Folds of Honor, a leading nonprofit organization that provides educational scholarships for children and spouses of fallen or disabled military service members and first responders. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, thank you for your service. Thank you for hopping on the show with us. I know that we are always very, very excited to have you on here. So thank you so much for joining. And we're also joined by Kyle Rudolph, two-time Pro Bowl tight end, one of our good friends here. And we are here to talk about some exciting stuff. So guys, thank you for coming on. Welcome to the show again.
Thanks for having us. It's always fun to be on with you guys. And what an honor to be on here today with Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. Folds of Honor, something that I'm just getting involved with here recently. Had the opportunity to be at a Riley Green concert with Lieutenant Colonel Rooney out there in Minnesota. You know, you guys know the beautiful Lake Minnetonka. So you've seen it. You've been around. Folds of Honor had a concert there here earlier this summer. Kind of my first Folds of Honor experience, and got to know Lieutenant Colonel Dan and their mission and everything that they do. And extremely excited that you guys took this opportunity to raise money for these military families, because that's what it's all about. Like, we got to support our military families and the sacrifices and efforts they've made.
For sure, man. I mean, when you brought this to us, we couldn't have been more excited about it. Obviously, there's an amazing sweepstakes at the end of it. We're sending a person and a guest to Rome for the Ryder Cup, which is an amazing experience. But on the whole other side of it, the amount of money that we're raising for such a great organization is truly, it's an honor for us to be involved in it. Honestly, just to be able to make videos about it and talk about it. It's such a small part in it, and hopefully we can raise as much as we can. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, how did this all come about with Kyle and Alltroo, and where are you seeing this from your side?
Yeah, just blessed to see, the support grow. Obviously, a huge fan of Kyle and what he does. But I think at the end of the day, I would say the trinity of life is if you wake up every day and find something you're passionate about, you're good at, and it has an impact. And you look at a guy like Kyle, right? Obviously passionate about football. He's really good at it. But Folds of Honor allows him and so many others to have an impact. And I think that's why we're here, man, it's to help each other. And if we just all helped each other a little bit, what a different world we would live in. And so feel really blessed. I've got some cool Ryder Cup history to kick off with you guys. So I've actually given 2 motivational team talks to Ryder Cup teams. I did one from Iraq. And it was pretty cool because President Bush 43 was in the room with the team that year. And then they actually Corey Pavin took me to Wales with the team and got to give the team talk there. And so you talk about intimidating, when Tiger's got his hat on backwards and he was like, what's this guy going to give us? And we got 30 minutes with the team, and everybody laughed and everybody cried, and it was really good. And I'll never forget one quick story I'm going to share with you. Tom Lehman at the end of it, who's a dear brother in Christ. His daughter, Rachel, runs our Phoenix chapter. We got 31 chapters, which is so cool, but she runs Phoenix for us. But he comes up to me at the end of this, and this is the really short version of the story. But he tells me a moment in his life way back, he'd lost his PGA Tour card. He was going to give up the dream of playing golf. And a couple days later, he gets a call from the Wichita Open. Ends up going through the night down to Wichita or Minneapolis. And he has to use this kid who's a high school wrestler as his caddy because there are no caddies left. Goes on to win the golf tournament. He said, Dan, I get a $20,000 check, biggest payday of my career. We're stone broke. I need every penny of this. And he said he looked over and he saw his caddy sitting on the green. And despite the kid doing nothing to warrant the fee, didn't read a putt, didn't give me a yardage, he paid this kid 10%, which is $2,000. He's going to be a senior in high school, and off Tom goes. And about 8 months later, a letter shows up in the mail where this young caddy just shares his heart. And he'd come from a terrible place. His dad had abandoned the family. He'd been addicted to alcohol and drugs. He'd gotten clean and sober. This kid was going to graduate high school, and he applied to school there in Wichita, and he'd been accepted, and the tuition was $2,000. So it goes on, and, Tom just changed this kid's life. And Tom looks at me, and he said, hey, not unlike your walk at Folds of Honor, that was the walk, the moment in my life that God chose me to be part of something bigger than myself. And I'm so humbled that he used me as an instrument, but I'm so proud that I had the courage and the faith to listen to what was in my heart. And the message for all of us, right, man? Do good, listen to what is on your heart. And that's how I try to live every day, man.
Are you actually nervous standing in front of those groups? I mean, it takes a lot to intimidate a guy like you. Are you kind of shaking in your boots when you're standing in front of those teams?
No, man, I'll tell you, once you've gotten shot at enough, it kind of fries all those nerve endings. I've done 3 combat tours in Iraq, and whatever that place is just kind of gets burned out of your brain. I still get nervous over a 5-foot putt. I think everybody on earth gets nervous over a 5-foot putt, irrationally so. Kyle, are you more nervous putting than playing football?
100%. I was just going to propose the question, like, what makes you more nervous, hitting a tee shot off number 1 in front of a crowd of people watching, looking Tiger dead in the eyes with his hat backwards to try to motivate the greatest player that's ever played our game, or, taking off from an aircraft carrier in your F-16. I'd be very curious of those 3 scenarios, which is the most nerve-wracking.
Yeah. None of those. I would say a 5-foot putt, because when you're good at something, you're pretty good. Like, God's given me this gift. I'm being humble, but it's like, man, I got this. Thank God for unanswered prayers. I've been a lousy putter my entire life. Dave Stockton's recently taken me on as kind of a pity case, so I'm getting better. But when you don't have the skill, that's when you get really nervous about what might happen.
That explains why I'm so nervous on the first tee, because I don't have the skill and I have no idea where the ball's going. There's a lot of people watching too, and it's not my comfort zone.
Right.
You can put me in front of 65,000 people and throw me a ball across the middle, and I don't even think twice.
Right.
But my hand shakes tremendously when I'm standing. They announce your name, especially playing these events. The American Century a couple weeks ago, the Pro-Ams, they announce your name, you walk up, and the greatest advice I ever got was put the ball on the tee in the ground before. Because, then once they announce you walk up, like, you're going to be shaken to go put it in the ground. So I always put the ball on the tee in the ground first. They announce you and you walk up. And to me, I'm just like, hit it far. Like, no one's going to care where it goes, where it ends up. Just hit it far, and we'll deal with it when we get up there.
That's amazing. It's all that uncertainty. Once that uncertainty kind of kicks in, everything else just it feels like the bright lights are on you. Everyone's watching your every move. But when you're doing something that you're comfortable with, for sure, you could do it in your sleep. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, I wanted to ask you a question. So we do a lot of different golf videos, and we see the sport of golf in all different ways. And one of the videos we did was with a sports psychiatrist that was really working with a lot of professional golfers, and he ended up helping me with a way of thinking and the mental side of the game. And one of the stories he told me related to an F-16 fighter pilot, where he was talking to a player about, you don't know what type of player you are until you're in the moment and you're in that match, and you have to make that putt. You can do all the preparation you want. You can hit as many practice putts as you want. But the second that it's Sunday and you have a chance to win and make money for your family and all that, you're never going to know what type of player you are until that moment. And he mentioned being a fighter pilot. And I would love to ask you like what your take is on this, where it's like you can do as much preparation as possible, I'm assuming, but the second it's engines on and the bird's in the air, it's like, and you're getting shot at and all these things are happening. That's where you really know your capabilities, I'm assuming, right? Like, you know, can you talk to me a little bit about what that is? And does preparation even help you for those moments, or is it all just like something else has to take over in those moments?
Yeah, well, I'm a big preparation guy, but I'm going to take you back. So when you learn to fly an F-16, this is such a cool story. So the program of pilot training to become a fighter pilot is 2.5 years long. They'll spend $8 million per pilot training you. And there are actually more people that will play in the NFL than be fighter pilots. Crazy, right? So this is a wild dream. There's 45 of us that start a class. And I said, it's about 5% that will actually finish and be fighter pilots. And it takes you about 18 months to finally get to the F-16. And you get 4 rides with an instructor. And your 5th ride is solo, or you walk out of the program. And I remember sitting in this, $15 million fighter jet by myself, right? We have nobody in the back seat. We're single seat fighter pilots. And it's, top speed's 2.5 times the speed of sound, 0 to 50,000 feet under a minute. I mean, it's an amazing machine. And I get in it about, 5 minutes before I'm supposed to start. And I realize that I'm actually not by myself. This is my first solo ride. It's like everybody in my life that had told me along the journey that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't smart enough. What a stupid idea. This will never work. We all have these people in our lives, right? And they're with me. And it was like super emotional because then I start doubting myself too. I'm like, man, what am I doing here? And I reach over, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I got my helmet behind me here.
Wow.
And my fighter jet helmet. And so if I take this off, so I reached over on the rail, and this thing has done a couple thousand hours in fighter jets, 3 combat tours in Iraq, but it sits next to me on the rail here. And so I reach over and I put it on. I'm not going to put it on. And I put my dark visor down like this. And
so awesome.
I closed everything out. I closed all those people out. It was probably the most empowering moment of my entire life. And it has been like my anthem. And I say dark visor down to myself frequently when you're in that place where the world's trying to make you a prisoner of common assumption and tell you what's possible and what's not possible. We're all need a dark visor in our lives. And so I equate it to this. And I've talked to my buddy Gary Woodland, as a professional golfer or a professional athlete, that you have to have the ability to close it all out. And when you close it all out, then you tap into your subconsciousness, and that's where we know all of our athletic ability, our reactive nature, that's where it lives. And when we can close out those voices, that's when we're most successful. So I learned, I always said, man, if I played very competitive college golf and was, top 50 in the world amateur rankings, doesn't matter, but I played a bunch against Tiger as well. But if I would have known that lesson back when I was really competing, it would have been incredibly valuable. Because I think everybody needs a dark visor in their life, whether it's on the golf course or whether it's just going out to chase your dreams, man. You only know what is in your heart. Put that dark visor down. And as we say, the other lesson that was awesome that I learned that day, after I came back and I shut the engine down after an hour-long flight all by myself with this insane drug called fighter pilot whipping through my veins, which no one can ever get enough of, it is go before you're ready. And I wasn't ready for that flight, but I went anyway. And those empowering moments in life where you understand that God's like, man, I'm with you. And if you have the faith to go, I will always be there. And if there was one strand of DNA that ties greatness together, in my opinion, it's that. It's people that understand they'll never have it all figured out, and they just go. And that's where the good stuff is in this world. And I am living proof that where most people don't want to go is where you got to go to do really, truly meaningful, impactful stuff in life.
Wow.
Yeah, man, you were just fine in a room with Tiger. No problem. God dang.
Dark visor down. I mean, it gave me the chills. I started like tearing up a little bit, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everyone can apply that in all walks of life. It doesn't matter what you're doing, what your job is. there's so many times where doubt creeps in, or just like bad self-talk starts to happen, and you're like, I can't do this. It's wow. That's a very, very impactful, empowering statement. And yeah, you've definitely perfected, I would say, the speeches that you're able to give to these guys. Did the Ryder Cup team call you for this year? Because I think the European team might be a little bit better than the USA team. We might need everything that we can get.
Well, it'll be fun, that's for sure. But, taking it home on foreign soil, I'm an expert in doing that. They should call me. Zach should call me. He's a really good buddy of mine. I've lobbied a little bit. Yeah, but that's not my style. But yeah, I'm good at delivering the president's mail on foreign land, and we'll leave it at that.
Man.
So I don't have a bunch of people coming after me.
Truly Vodka Seltzer. You're going to drink it and say, there's vodka in this? Yeah, there's vodka in this. It's the Truly Vodka Seltzer. It's made with real fruit juice. They like to keep it real, and that's why they use no zilch artificial flavors or sweeteners. They are the proud presenting sponsor of the Barstool Classic for 5 years running now. It's an amazing partnership that we have with Truly. You can't go to a Barstool Classic without having a Truly Vodka Seltzer, and these things are delicioso.
Yeah, they should be proud, because everybody who goes to a Barstool Classic and drinks one is like, this thing is delicious. And they drink them all day on the golf course. They're refreshing. It's hot at a lot of these Barstool Classic locations, so you need something cold, something cool to keep you cool. And Trulies are out there, and people love them. They really do. They are delicious.
They're made with real fruit juice and made with premium vodka for a crisp, clean, refreshing taste. They have fewer calories, which means all 12-ounce cans have under 110 calories. Plenty of refreshing flavor that will not weigh you down. They are lower in sugar. Every single Truly Vodka Seltzer contains only 2 grams of sugar. So these drinks are a refreshing go-to that is perfect for the hot, humid summer. Find Truly Vodka Seltzer now near you at trulyhardseltzer.com. Make sure you go to that store locator. Find those Truly Vodka Seltzers at trulyhardseltzer.com. So Kyle, Alltroo, I want to get to that real quick. Obviously, we're doing this huge sweepstakes with you guys. How did you get partnered with Alltroo, and then eventually now we're working with the Folds of Honor? But talk to us a little bit about how that came to be. You seem to be doing so much good work for a football player that's had such a good career as you have had. It's amazing you find the time to continuously keep working with so many charities, and you're at every single Pro-Am event. I mean, you got to be the busiest football player on the planet.
Well, right now I don't have any football, so I got all the time in the world as I transition kind of into this next chapter. So to be able to dedicate even more time to Alltroo and work with incredible partners like Lieutenant Colonel Dan and Folds of Honor, it's for us, Jason Zucker, who was playing for the Minnesota Wild when I was with the Vikings, and we did a bunch of work together at the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. And like everyone in 2020, we couldn't do our traditional ways of raising funds for charity. And it was really just the two of us and 2 other partners from the Children's Hospital that sat down over a cup of coffee in Wayzata, Minnesota, and put our heads together and, what's an alternative way that we can raise money, because what we're doing traditionally, we can't do. And that has grown into what Alltroo is now today. And the big thing with Alltroo is, we're kind of creating a democracy across fundraising. And, if we were to put this experience, a trip to Rome to watch Team USA play Team Europe, if we were to put that in a live auction, somebody with the most funds is going to just be able to buy it, whether that be $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever that is. The richest person in the room is going to buy it. And they've probably gone on these type of experiences in the past. And what we love to do at Alltroo is not only then apply this model where thousands of people can enter at a significantly smaller dollar amount for a chance to win this, but now we're able to, our winners are diehard sports fans. Our winners are people that, never would. It's like somebody winning the lottery. Like, you play the lottery never expecting to win. And these people are passionate about supporting our partners like Lieutenant Colonel Dan and Folds of Honor. And when they do get the experience and they win the prize, it's the greatest day of their life. So it's kind of a win-win for us. We're providing these once in a lifetime fan experiences that we want it to be something money can't buy, while also raising more money for our partners. And like you guys said, I spend a lot of time on it now. I'm extremely passionate about it because it allows me to be an asset to people like Lieutenant Colonel Rooney and help them. They're already doing so much incredible work. I mentioned the Riley Green concert in Minnesota, doing traditional ways of raising money. At Alltroo, we just want to be, a supplemental way to drive more funds to charity. So in this case, we can provide more scholarships to military families and, ultimately help these organizations out.
It's amazing work that everybody's doing behind the scenes. It's just it's amazing to us. And this sweepstakes, like we said, for our listeners, the people that do like golf, we've talked about it at length. It's a $10 minimum donation will get you into the sweepstakes. And the more money you put in, the more entries you get in. But like you said, it's not going to go to the highest bidder. Someone at random is going to win this amazing prize in the heart of Rome, four-star hotel. They're getting grounds passes to the Ryder Cup. They're getting airfare paid for them. You got to go to alltroo.com, ALLTROO.com/foreplay to enter. You've heard Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney talk about this stuff. How could you not want to support this amazing foundation, the Folds of Honor? I mean, it's just, I want to run through a wall listening to Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney just speak. I want to ask, what's the display behind you right up there, right by your head, behind you?
Well, it's a 20 millimeter bullet. Comes out of our F-16. We shoot 100 of those a second.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they're HEI, high incendiary. But more important, I'm going to pile into why you need to go to the Ryder Cup, why you need to bid.
Yeah, go ahead. I just couldn't stop looking at that bullet. My gosh.
We got 13,000 applications from military families this year, which is unprecedented, that have had somebody killed or 100% disabled defending our freedoms. This is a way to say thank you, first and foremost. And somebody's going to win an amazing trip, but there's 0.5% of this country that woke up willing to give their lives for our freedoms. And this is just such a tangible way to take care of their families, giving them the gift of an education. I'm raising 5 daughters, and I'll tell you, if my takeoffs for some reason didn't match my landings, my number one concern is that Jackie, my wife, and my 5 daughters have the opportunity to pursue that American dream, giving them education. 91 cents of every dollar we raise goes directly to fund scholarships, which puts us in the top of 1% of nonprofits in the country. So know your $10 donation is going to make a difference. We'll send over 9,000 families to school this fall, so over $40 million out the door. But as I mentioned, we've got thousands of qualified families that we got to say, hey, we got you, but it's going to be next year. And everybody that makes an entry and a donation to Folds, you're helping one of those families. So Ryder Cup's awesome. Yeah, it's time of your life. There's no doubt about that, and especially on foreign soil. But Folds of Honor, and we understand that freedom is not free. So let's get in the fight and help these families first and foremost.
That's for sure. Again, a reminder, if you're listening to this, alltroo.com/foreplay. Get in the mix. Make sure that you do donate, because it's obviously going to help an amazing cause. And we really appreciate you guys coming here. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, how's your golf game right now? Are you getting out to play? I know Kyle talk about a little bit of tips or coaching. Where's your game at? What's your handicap?
Yeah, so I'll tell you. So I'll give you my best tip when we close out. But game's decent, right? I got 5 jobs, 5 kids, but it's a big part of my life. So it's blessed I get to sharpen that spear a lot. And I'll play in the senior section championship Monday, Tuesday, and so I think I'm like a +3 right now. It's been better, better than that. But it's like that's what I've done my whole life, dude. I mean, I grew up in Stillwater, Oklahoma, with 2 older sisters. I had nothing else to do. I just started playing golf. So, but I love it. And for everybody that loves it out there, you get it, man. We're all part of this golf church that we connect with the game. We connect with our bros. It's if you give me a chance to do that over anything in the world, that's where I am, and that's the beauty of the church called golf that I love. But my best advice for everybody, the one thing every good player does that I see most amateurs screw up is after you look at the target, I don't care how many times you look at the target, when you look back, you got to pull the trigger right away. So there's that go before you're ready again. But every good player comes back from the target and they go. And virtually every amateur I see looks at the target, they come back, and it's like 1,000, 1,000. They're thinking about their swing thought. They're thinking about a bounce on the left, and you are screwed. There's not one good player in the world that waits over that golf shot after they come back. You watch the guys on the tour this week, and you'll see everybody. It's shocking how fast they pull the trigger once they're back at the ball.
You're not going to believe how quickly I start to take that take back after I look at my target the next time I play golf. You're not going to believe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be
Split
like,
second.
You're not even going to see my head move. It's going to be a blur.
Yeah, you'll turn into an athlete as opposed to, sitting there paralyzing yourself.
Yeah, we talked at the 3M last year. We played with Sam Ryder, who's on the tour, and he said that he grew up playing a lot of baseball, and that he tried to move the athleticness of baseball into golf. He hated that it was so slow, so he would do all of his pre-shot routines pre-walking up to the ball, and exactly to what you're saying, he felt like once he stood over the ball, he'd look down, and kind of it'd all be one motion, where it was like very reactionary as opposed to just standing there, becoming solid, and kind of losing all of that athleticism. So yeah, now that you're saying that, it's kind of piecing it all together, that it must be the trick to just like actually being an athlete, looking up, looking down, hitting it, and not really letting all the thoughts take over. Kyle, you mentioned a little bit before about the transition, not playing as much football. Has that been an official announcement yet? Have you made the official, like, you're not playing, you're kind of hanging it up? I mean, if you want to make that announcement on Foreplay, I'd be more than happy about that.
So I haven't made any official announcement, but while I was out at the American Century, which is on NBC, it was announced that I'll be doing Big Ten games this fall. So I'm doing man. Big Ten games on Peacock. Awesome. So obviously, if I'm in the booth doing Big Ten games for Peacock and NBC, I won't be then going to play football the next day. But for me, I haven't officially rolled out anything in the future. Just for me right now, again, I'm dedicating all of my time and energy to Alltroo. Like Lieutenant Colonel Dan, when you have kids, I have 4. So I have 4 full-time jobs as well on top of the Alltroo stuff and the TV stuff. And just, my kids are getting to an age now where you start to miss a lot of stuff that's important to them. And, for me, I sat down with Henry after last season, and, he's playing baseball, he's playing hockey, he's taking golf lessons, he's doing all this stuff. And I asked him, I said, do you still love going to Dad's games, or, would you like me to come to your games more? And he's like, I like going to your games. You don't play very much anymore, but I think you should start coming to my games. And I was like, perfect. That sums it up. And we've been so fortunate to play 12 years in the NFL. My daughters are going to be 7. So, they've realized, they've been in, stadiums all across the country, seeing it live in person, and they get it. They'll always remember it. And to me, that was something that I always wanted. I wanted my kids to kind of see and get to have early memories of what I did. So, again, I haven't officially made any announcements. We'll see kind of where that goes, but I am excited for these things that are coming next.
If 2 Pro Bowls, an amazing career, I would say that I think the best thing is you caught Tom Brady's last regular season touchdown. Do you have that football still?
I do. So, and for me, it was my 50th regular season touchdown. So, I get to 47 in 8 or 9 years, whatever it was. And, again, like, I feel like I'm in the prime of my career. I'm buzzing. I'm going to soar up the all-time touchdowns list. And then it was like 2020, I catch 1. 2021, I catch 1. And I'm, halfway through the season in Tampa, we're playing on Thursday night. Tom throws one over my head in the end zone. I'm like, God, there went number 50. Like, I'm never going to get 50. I've just been crawling to try to get to 50. So last regular season game of the year, Tom played like 2 drives to break a few records. We were playing a meaningless game. We had already won the division. Our seed was locked in. So I go out on 3rd and 8 on our first drive of the game and catch my 50th touchdown.
Oh.
Then fast forward a few weeks later, Tom ultimately decides to retire. I had given the ball to our equipment manager to get like painted up so I could keep it as my 50th touchdown. Tom's thrown 7 million touchdowns, and I assumed he would go throw a few hundred more after that game. So never did I think that the ball that's painted up sitting at the house was going to be Tom's last regular season touchdown. I feel like I need to get it repainted. It says that it's my 50th touchdown and it was from Tom Brady, but I really just need to say that, you know, I caught Tom's last regular touchdown. That's way better than my 50th touchdown. So, you know, an incredible experience getting to play with a guy like Tom. You know, Lieutenant Colonel was talking about greatness. He epitomizes it in everything that he does. And it was a lot of fun for me to get to be around him.
They didn't try to take it back from you?
That was going to be my question.
So-
It's like, is that a discussion? Does he get the ball? But I was also thinking Tom's got a million footballs probably.
Yeah. And so it was funny how it played out. You know, we're in, you know, about a month into the off season when Tom announced that, you know, I'm finally going to retire for good. And I hadn't gotten the ball back yet from our equipment manager, like painted up. And so I was like, well, you know, I'm not getting it. Like, I'm not going to see that one. There's no way Tom's going to get it, which is fine. And I went into the facility the next day and I was getting my workout in, and sure enough, the next day it was in my locker, all finished up, all painted up. So I think I walked right out to the car and put it in my car to make sure that it got home and it didn't disappear.
That's incredible.
Amazing. Lieutenant Colonel, did you ever cross paths with Tom Brady at all throughout his career? I feel like if you're speaking to the Ryder Cup guys, a lot of these greatness people would want to hear from someone like you that, you know, can help them through any sort of adversity.
Yeah, if I had, I wouldn't share the story after that one.
Yeah,
that's
incredible.
smart.
That is very smart. Hey guys, I really appreciate you both coming on to the show and you know, letting us all know about how amazing you know, this organization is and how we can all help. Again, that's alltroo.com/foreplay. A $10 donation goes a long way. And like we said, the more that you put in, the more entries you get to win this incredible sweepstakes. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, it's been an honor and a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for coming on here and just, you know, really putting things into perspective for us and allowing us to learn how to be better. And, you know, those visors down, that's amazing. I'm going to be thinking about that for a long, long time. So you definitely made an impact here with me and Trent and Kyle. Thanks for setting this all up, and hopefully we can do some good things with Alltroo. But thanks again, guys, both of you. Really, really great stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Kyle, thank you so much for flying the Folds flag. Honored to be with you. Love to come back and chat anytime.
For sure. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.